Peace. $1.50. 2G what it is. 2G being 2000. What it is being the rest. Sounds live. Peace. $1.50. Yo, I'm magnifying my content by getting the technology to match the content I generate. Now, I was investing in Nikon, but I tossed Nikon. I tossed Nikon because I already did all the card tricks. 52 cards in the deck, you only gonna do that so many times before it bog out. So what I did was, I tossed the Nikon in the event of getting the drone back on a refund. I took that, put it towards the new technology I'm purchasing with Canon camera. Canon camera got this fire joint from back in the day that I'm gonna cop based on how extreme it is. It's like a sport joint, you know what I mean? But the recording, the technology on it is crazy. So in the process of doing that, I was on a bus. I know I should be driving, I know. But when I start driving, it's gonna be Lambs and Porsches and Ferraris. It's not gonna be domestic options. So when it's gonna be domestic options, I'm basing it on, catapulting from one extreme to the next. I'm doing vaccine distribution. You know what I'm saying? I'm doing hip hop headquarters. I'm doing Paxvid Pill at Amazon. So when I'm doing that, you know what I mean? I'm not just going from no car to a Toyota Camry. You know what I mean? I'm capitalizing off the extremes I'm up against. So when I cop the new joint costs more than the drone, the Nikon. And you know what I mean? The new joint is fire. I took the money from the drone and just put it towards the new joint with Canon. You know what I mean? I did it like that. But when I was on the bus driver slammed on brakes and there was a lady up front, you know what I mean, with a baby, and the baby fell on the baby head. You know what I mean? I'm like, yo, I gotta get out of these extremes where, you know what I mean, the locals are doing things like, arguing, me even being in the same situation where, if they die or something, they not blaming me, but they the type of people that try and use, a option to start an argument, from anything. You know what I'm saying? So I said, listen, I'm getting out of this situation as fast as possible. You know what I mean? And the Canon, I didn't cop the Canon yet. It's just on, I put something on it, and when I cop it, it's gonna be in a few days, few weeks, a couple of weeks, you know what I mean? Not immediately. It's gonna be in a few weeks. I give it a couple of weeks. Cause I don't have it like that for real, you know what I mean? I just took it, took the drone money, put that towards that, took some money from something else, put it towards that, and that cost more than the drone and the Nikon. So when I tossed the Nikon, I tossed the drone, you know what I mean? I'm basing it on the drone and the Nikon not even being worth the same amount as the Canon. You know what I mean? So the Canon crazy. The Canon crazy. I'm gonna tell you that. You know what I mean? The Canon is like big like this with a lens like this. You know what I mean? And it's crazy. It's a sport joint for real. It's a sport joint. And and when I was trying to start the Wi-Fi on it, I didn't have Wi-Fi to start it. I had Wi-Fi on my phone, but I wasn't in the vicinity of a hotspot or something like that. I don't know. I never heard of that before. I heard it. I know if you got Wi-Fi on your phone, usually you have Wi-Fi wherever you are, if it's available anyway. It wasn't available where I was at, where I was copping the Canon. They didn't have Wi-Fi. They had Wi-Fi for themselves, but they didn't have Wi-Fi with, like McDonald's have Wi-Fi and you could use McDonald's Wi-Fi. They didn't have Wi-Fi like that. So, It's crazy. Now I'm ordering a remote control so I'll be able to hit record. Now I don't know if the remote control is going to be capable of hitting records because these cameras have different functions that don't function. I know I seen it on video. I seen it on video, so I know it can do it. But you have to program it. You have to program the camera. It's like it's got all these features on it. You got to program the autofocus. You got to program the ISO, the aperture. You got to program the manual. You know, the manual, everything on the camera. Like you can go raw on the camera. I go JPEG. I don't go raw because if I pay, top dollar for a joint, I'm not going raw and start over on every joint I record. The joint's so crazy. Like if you want to take 1,000 pictures, it go. That's how the camera run. The camera sound like that. You know what I mean? If you want to take 500 pictures, it sound like that. You know what I mean? It's a crazy type camera. Like if you're somebody in sports, you know what I mean? Like if they was wrestling or if they was boxing or if they was doing anything, you know what I mean? It'd be like the camera keeps up with what it is, just taking pictures. That's just pictures. That's not video, and video is just a smooth video. You gotta hook up the content. Like I had the clock up, but now I got the flag and I got the plaque up. You know what I mean? BMW is somewhere nearby. I'm not pushing on BMW, you know what I mean? Like we'll be dealing with transitioning to a more feasible situation, and then they'll be like, nah, they don't do nothing like that. You know what I mean? They don't, we go through things like that. Like 1 minute they there, and then the next day not. So I'm just like, I got the plaque up, and I'll throw a joint on Twitter like New York Stock Exchange, BMW, Mercedes Benz, Lamborghini, Porsche, and of course my joint. 1,000 Million Foundation or 26goldshield.com or Paxivit911.com. I'll push any one of my joints because I'm getting ready to cop another joint based on, teaming up with Canon. Canon a little more consistent than BMW. BMW is looking at me like I want a car from them. I really don't want to drive for real. I'm driving based on when they started pulling me over initially and towed my vehicle and locked me up and did all this crazy stuff based on me having my own car. The reason I'm driving is because I'm in my car. The whole time I was redirected, I was in my car. So they can't take me out my car illegally. You know what I mean? If it's a wrongful stop or wrongful search or wrongful search and seizure, they can't take me out of my car. So I'm in that place. That's why I'm starting out. You know what I mean? Lamborghini, Porsche, Ferrari, Aston Martin, whatever. You know what I mean? Rolls Royce, whatever. That's why I'm starting out like that because I'm in no less of a place than I was when they started the redirection. So check it. The Canon camera, crazy. You know what I mean? Like you could see a bird flying and go, take a picture, not a video, a picture. Go while the bird flying, and you'll see the wings flap. You know what I mean? And one picture, and the wings close on the next, and it'd be like, and you know what I mean? The camera crazy like that. One of them type cameras. So I'm like, you know what I mean? When I seen it, I was like, let me get that joint right there. I need one of them joints because it's nothing in between the pictures that you take with the joint. The joints are so ridiculous. It's nothing in between them. You say, what you gonna do with that? I take one picture, one place, and I take, a bird animal joint somewhere else. Squirrel running around, follow the squirrel, and it had a squirrel in motion. Like a little movie, old movie or something. But it'd be, depending on your skills. Whether it's colorful or not based on, what you're doing. So listen, that's one place. That's how the Canon, the vlogs, I'm trying to get the gimbal The gimbal, it still works on the gimbal. It's like real big. So it still works on the gimbal, but it's you gotta do it a certain way. You can't just do the vlog like you wanna just be vlogging with with the vlog. You gotta do it a certain way. You gotta do it like a mini tour or something. You do a mini tour and do a vlog, with a gimbal, it'll have that precision with it. It won't just be like shaking the camera shaking. I'm not planning on coming out like that with the camera shaking. I'm gonna be on a tripod. I'm gonna be on a gimbal. I'm not just gonna walk down the street with the camera. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna do that. It's not that type of camera anyway. You can do that, but that's not what I'm going to do because it's a top-notch camera. It's like a flagship joint, like one of their joints they came out with, some time ago. But it represented Canon Corporation. That's going to be my new joint, Canon Corporation. You know what I mean? CanonCorporation.com. And I'm gonna push my joint the same way. You know what I mean? The flagship joint's supposed to be pushed. Really, I guarantee you. Like from the deck of cards, from the Kentucky Fried Chicken, the Wendy's, the McDonald's pictures with the New York Stock Exchange, on Twitter, when I did that with the Nikon got pushed that way. In the deck of cards with the Nikon, 52 cards in the deck, do a video with the cards now. Like I put the cards away. I didn't do this video with the cards. Now I'm doing this video without the cards. I just got the BMW plaque and the United States flag, and BMW might show up, be like, all right, we give up. You know what I mean? We're gonna show up because that bus ride where the baby fell on his head, that was too crazy. You know what I mean? You shouldn't be in those type of situations where stuff is happening around you, and people in that locality waiting to argue anything that you around. Because, they going through the emotions and, it's just people like that I'm around. Because when I did We Legal, the album, it was like they was looking for opportunities to follow me on YouTube and follow me musically too. So it was like, they grew up into gigantic characters. Now they like, waiting for the opportunity to strike every time something happened. You know what I mean? So I'll just be like, boom, the little baby fell on his head on the bus. You know what I mean? I got off the bus, the same stop the baby fell on his head. I'm gonna tell you what happened. The bus was in between stops, and the lady with the baby, she rung the bell. Bling! I got off the same stop that she rung the bell. When she rung the bell, I got out my seat. I was getting ready to get off the bus. And the bus driver hit the brakes. Stomped the brakes. Didn't scare or nothing. Just stomped the brakes real hard. And the baby fell on his head. Boom! It was like a loud boom on the bus. And the baby wasn't even crying. It was, the baby was like how a baby get ready to cry and just had a facial expression, but nothing comes out. That's how the baby was. The baby was, she picked the baby up real quick. And the baby wasn't crying completely because it was so far off from crying that, it was just crazy like that. So then the bus pulled over. When I got off, I was the only one that got off. And when the bus pulled over, I think they called the police, the ambulance and all that, based on how extreme the situation was. But I can't be in a situation like that because they wait to capitalize off stuff like that. You know what I mean? In this locality based on, being around them. You know what I mean? They see my videos, but they ignore my video content and, try and get near me based on having the option to be around somebody they never seen before. They seen me before realistically, but they never seen my style. They see my style and be like, who he's supposed to be. You know what I mean? I heard his video and, I heard how he probably was talking about us and, all that's going on, you know what I mean? And it's been going on for years. You know what I'm saying? So now that I'll be on a bus, it's spring now. So, being spring, it's like the weather breaking. And you know what I mean? I'm not just going to be cramped up in the house, dodging nobody. I'm just like, you know what I mean? if I see one of them, it might go there. You know what I mean? I don't know how it's gonna play. I don't go around them enough to know while I'm in a situation. So whatever the difference is, I'm pushing my joint. You know what I mean? And when I get the new Canon joint that I'm pushing, it's not new. It's used, but it's a chunky joint, a flagship joint. Like the Nikon was a flagship joint. The Nikon was like, it wasn't a flagship joint. The Nikon got the D5. I got the 1DX Mark II. That's the name of it. The 1DX Mark II. That's the name of it by Canon. It's crazy. If you look it up, they be like, yo, this is the flagship joint from back in the day, but everybody still be trying to buy them. You know what I mean? It's like that, one of them joints. And the Nikon joint I had, it was like everybody trying to buy these joints. They still got them. They still got them the same way. Like if you go to one like a store trying to buy one, they got them in Amazon for like 2,500. You can get one easily for 2,500. That's without the lens. Lens like 500, 600, 1,000 just for the lens. So when I caught mine, you know what I mean, I paid a little bit less, but the point that I'm making is the technology in the same place as, the one that cost 2,500. It's been used, so it's got like out pictures on it, and it's like, that capability is real. You know what I mean? And you can program the buttons to record and stuff like that. So I'm getting the recorder, I'm getting the remote control, for it's not that expensive. The remote control not expensive, but the accessories are. You know what I mean? The SD card is like a C flash card, a C flash card. It's two different cards that fit in there at one time. The battery compartment, you have to turn a switch to open the battery compartment. You know what I mean? It's crazy how it's set up. You know what I mean? It don't have the flip screen on it. It don't have flip screen. It's got Bluetooth though. It's got Bluetooth and it's got Wi-Fi. But you gotta have Wi-Fi in the vicinity that you in, or you won't have a hotspot. You won't. What I did was when I put something on it, I tried to activate the picture download. The picture download is like you take a picture and then download it to your phone as opposed to taking the flash card out, the SD card. It's a flash card, but they call it a flash card because it's that type of technology. It's not an SD card like a normal camera. So it's a flash card, but same as an SD card, a memory card. So instead of taking that out and getting the flash card reader and having a different card read every time you take the card out, I'm just gonna be uploading them the same way I was with the Nikon. The Nikon was crazy like that. Like you can upload pictures and all that with the Bluetooth and the Wi-Fi. The only difference is it wasn't built the same. It wasn't built like you run through a deck of cards with a Nikon. They got the D5, the compatible joint for the 1DX Mark II is a D5. The D5 is by Nikon. Nikon want like 7,000 for it, for they joint. They joint is like 7,000. When the joint I got came out, it was like 4 or 5,000. The 1DX Mark II by Canon, that was like about 4 or 5,000. But now it's like, you know what I mean? They got them in Amazon. You can cop it for like 2,500 just for the body. You know what I mean? The body is like 2,500, no lens or nothing. You buy the lens, it'd be like a G, 2 Gs, depending on what type of lens you get, because it's the type of lens that, you know what I mean, you get birds and all that close up with the taking off, and you know what I mean, fish underwater, and it's all types of joints that go with it, you know what I mean, that the technology match up to. So it's like I watched a rodeo with one of them joints. They was filming the rodeo with the joint, and you know what I mean. The kids was riding the sheep or something. You know what I mean? It was crazy. Like I was introduced to that joint. The only way I was introduced to that is I seen it for sale. I said, how much is that? I mean, let me see that right there. That one right there looked fire. It was chunky, you know what I mean? Heavy duty like looking. So I copped that joint, and I gotta pick it up like a couple of weeks, you know what I'm saying? Cause I took the Nikon money, I took the drone money, and both together, it cost more than both together. Crazy. I just said, let me cop that joint. I'll just pick it up in a week or two. You know what I mean? I was like, yo. And when I went through the experience of the baby falling on the head and all that was trying to hook up the Wi-Fi. They didn't have Wi-Fi in that area or something, you know. So I was like, yo, no Wi-Fi. It's time for me to, you know, move on, you know, because my content I generate is vaccine distribution, packs of it in Amazon, hip hop headquarters. I'm trying to advance, you know what I mean? I can't be somewhere where they don't even have Wi-Fi, and I'm trying to distribute vaccines so the migrants at the border flooding in the country, you know, won't be flooded in the hospital, and, you know, have packs of it at Amazon so they won't be congested in the hospital with full-blown patients and regular patients for emergency room reasons all in the same place. So my reasons are for you know, getting out of this situation are more than what they appear. You know what I mean? The situation is even more so not compatible with what I generate by not having Wi-Fi. You know what I mean? You don't have Wi-Fi. I just copped a new joint that need Wi-Fi. I couldn't upload the Wi-Fi joint without the Wi-Fi capabilities in the area. That was crazy. I was like, yo, how I'm gonna do this? I can't even be. This was like right. This wasn't even too far from where I'm at right now. They didn't have Wi-Fi. McDonald's had Wi-Fi. You know, the restaurants along the way had Wi-Fi, but once you get past, you know, in traffic going past McDonald's and the restaurants that offer Wi-Fi, then you don't have Wi-Fi no more. Crazy. All the hotspots be moving around on your phone like it's crazy. Like I got an Xfinity service, but I called them up and I was like, my Wi-Fi keep going out. And they was like, you have to be in an area where they have Wi-Fi. So I was like, oh, how I'm gonna be walking around with no Wi-Fi, you know, if I got a camera, if I'm trying to upload something to my camera. So you gotta be somewhere where they got Wi-Fi. You can't do it. So I got unlimited data again. I had took the unlimited data off because I had the drone, and then I said I wasn't gonna be flying the drone with the phone hooked up to it. So I took the Wi-Fi, the unlimited data off. But I had ran 3 gigs of data, which costs the same as unlimited service for the same thing. I got Xfinity Mobile and I got Xfinity Home service. So it's like, you know, when I ran the 3 gigs up, you know, from the drone and the camera trying to hook from the Nikon too. You know, I had the Wi-Fi with the Nikon. So from the drone to the Nikon to the Canon, you know, it was like I ran 3 gigs. Normally I only run 1. I only use 1 gig normally because I don't ever use Wi-Fi for nothing. I just use it when I need to use it, but I don't use it like for cameras and drones or nothing normally. So yo, I copped the joint. You know what I'm saying? I copped the joint. I tossed the Nikon because I didn't ever say what I was doing because it was so crazy. Like the time that it was taking for the drone to come back. You know what I mean? I was just like, yo, I'm gonna get this gimbal. First, I said I was gonna get a gimbal. I had the Nikon. Said I was gonna hook up the gimbal to the Nikon. Then I said, it's taking so long for the drone money to come back to get the gimbal. I said, I'm gonna push another joint, you know what I mean? And I tossed the Nikon with the card joint playing that I wasn't comfortable with because When you got something that's crazy like that, like a deck of cards that's aligning to BMW, Porsche, Lamborghini, the Women's Tennis Association, and what I mean, when a deck of cards is starting to look like that, you gotta toss that joint before anybody get near you any kind of way. So what I did was I tossed the Nikon, copped the Canon. That's what the technology is, the flagship of the joint, flagship of Canon. So I'm doing a new joint named Canon Corporation. Soon as I, get my ducks in a row, you know what I mean? Right when I get that joint in, I'm gonna cop the Canon Corporation joint. It's gonna be crazy. It's gonna be crazy because nobody does it like that. When I'm doing it like that, I'm pushing my joints. I'm pushing my joints past where anybody push their joints at. And when I had the M50, it was a Canon. It was a Canon M50. I had 3 of them joints. I was catching ambulances, police cars, fire trucks, because I'm calling 911 like, yo, what y'all doing with these people from the old neighborhood tampering with my website? You know what I mean? I was calling the police like directly. And it was a problem because they was watching my videos and showing up tampering with my website. I'm like, yo, I don't even know these people like that. You know what I mean? I didn't tell them nothing about my hip hop interests, you know what I mean, on YouTube. So, once it got intricate, like vaccine distribution and hip hop headquarters, the neighborhood just really turned into gigantic characters. Then, you couldn't tell them nothing. I never seen one of them, but it was like, while I'm on the internet, they full blown like characters, you know what I mean? Don't tell them they not real just based on seeing my video and following my content. Don't tell them that. No, don't tell them that. So check it. I'm not dwelling on that, you know what I mean? Because they not near me. I never told them what I was doing. I never associated with them based on my content on YouTube. I don't go around none of them saying, yo, you see that new video? Yo, why don't you subscribe? Throw a like up there. I don't do none of that. All my joints is based on establishing myself in the mainstream. I went to Times Square with Weed Legal. Weed Legal went to New York Times because the childish ways of the mainstream couldn't handle the truth. You know what I'm saying? The government got ways of getting you aroused to the point of having an erection, climaxing, having kids, just part of the system, tampering with your way of thinking, leaving you in the days with a blurry vision, abnormal bad dreams such as repeated car collisions, no respect for the living, check out they past, destroying entire villages, a country based on killing, built on the backs of blacks with careers making millions, well off, getting their way back in the day. They used to chop an arm, a leg, an arm, a head off. Gangsters is what I was saying. They never been to court, and they never getting caught. They not playing. They in the movie making, commercials, radio stations. See how they did the Indians? The same here. Now we African Americans, taken from one place to another, kidnapping, murdered. These are not just allegations. Africans are extremely hard workers. Peace. $1.50. You already know. Peace.